This is Let Us Interrupt You, episode 231, here on Monday, November 6th, 2023. The Patriots are 2-7 on the year. That's just a reality now at this point. I mean, they're up 14-10. Washington was on a scoring spree at that point. They outscored the Patriots in the second half of that game, I believe it was 10-3 in that second half. And before I continue this, I have to put the light on here. There we go. I didn't realize how dark it would be in this room anyway, so I figured I'd put the light on there for you, make everything a lot better. But yeah, anyway, this game in of itself, I mean, from start to finish, I mean, you can tell from a mile away this was not going to end well for the Patriots on the day. They struggled throughout this game. I thought at one point this was honestly by far the worst game the Patriots have played. By far, I would say, and there's been horrible games, but coming up like a game where you lost Miami last week in Miami, and we thought you were on the right track, and you lose Kendrick Bourne the rest of the way. This team, Mac Jones can't do anything without Kendrick Bourne. Now, I know, granted, they threw for 220 yards. He went 24 for 44 in a game, had a touchdown and a late pick in the end, which that wasn't really even on Mac, by the way. That was on Juju Smith-Schuster, who had it in his hands, practically just had the catch, bounced off his hands into St. Judas's hands for the game-sealing interception. Otherwise, they were up 10-0 Washington for the most part. Mac Jones had a nice drive. That was right after the, I believe it was on a 3-play, 25-yard drive. That was off of a turnover, by the way, after a fumble by the Commanders. That was on Brian Robinson, who Tavardi forced the fumble. Gottschalk was the one that recovered it. Tavardi actually played pretty good in this game. That's a 14-yard touchdown play to Hunter Henry, thrown by Mac Jones. The only touchdown he would throw in the entire game. And then Ramon Stevenson, mid-second quarter, runs 65 yards down the field to get the extra points, 14 at that point. Commanders were then driving at that point. A 4-yard play from Gibson, a 6-yard play to Gibson again on a passing play, a 14-yard play to Brown. After a few plays that there was sacked there, a 24-yard throw from Howell, actually a run from Howell. That was good enough for the first down. Then an 11-yard pass play to Logan Thomas. Then on a 3rd and 10, a pass play to Pringle down to the Patriots 5-yard line, and that set up a Kyle Duggar interception in the end zone there. 6 yards deep in the end zone, was able to bring it out to the 14-yard line. It was a 20-yard play. That was a 15-play, 75-yard drive by the Commanders that ended up with an interception there. Patriots opened up the second half with a field goal here. Jones had an 11-yard play to Jalen Reagor, a 9-yard play to Demario Douglas, a 5-yard run to Ramon Stevenson for a first down. Then Jones scrambled for 3 yards. Then Elliott ran it for 3 yards. Then Elliott got a pass for 6 yards for a first down. A couple of plays later, Jones was sacked. The flag was on Henry for unnecessary roughness. This was by far the worst unnecessary roughness call because I couldn't tell one thing about this that was roughness. They got away with this one here. They couldn't convert on a 3rd down. Ryland kicked the field goal there, made it 17-10. So that was that. Next drive, Washington gets the ball. Second play of the drive with a 12-yard pass to Vic Gibson, a 7-yard run for Robinson, a 4-yard play by Gibson again, then a 12-yard run by Gibson. And then Howell gets a 33-yard pass to Dotson in the end zone for a touchdown there. Nice throw in the tight coverage. Game side 17. That led to a field goal there, and it led to a series of punts, and then it led to this game-sealing interception here. So I'll take you to that point right there. 2 minutes ago, Jones threw the 8 yards to Hunter Henry, a 13-yard to Juju Smith-Schuster, a 3rd and 6 play where Season got it and he was short for the first down. Then Jones passed it to Smith-Schuster again for 6. 2-yard run to scramble to get out of bounds. And then right there was right in the middle. Jadarius Martin got the pick right there. It wasn't even St. Judas. It was Martin who got the interception there. Game over. Washington gets the win. First win in Gillette Stadium since 1996. Think about that one for me. That was the same year the Patriots won the Super Bowl and lost to the Packers with Drew Bledsoe. And that was the first. I think that was the first year that Bill Parcells was their head coach as well. I want to say so. That was an interesting time for the Patriots. But they dropped to 2-7. They gotta accept the fact right now that they suck. I mean, we gotta accept the fact right now that they're not as good as we thought they would be. That loss to Washington stung a little bit, even though I picked the Washington Commanders to win because I didn't think for 1 second the Patriots were going to win this game. I really didn't. I had a lot of doubt going into that game because I thought to myself, they're going to blow it somehow. And typical New England, I would say crap New England fashion, Mac Jones version of this, they blew it. Now, Mac missed a lot of throws in this game. He threw the ball 44 times, got 220 yards out of it. I thought that was pretty bad. That was the only bad performance that I thought came out of this for Mac, really, was the amount of throws that he threw in this game and only produced 220 yards out of it. And he had one deep ball that was off of Rager's hands. Rager should have caught that ball. That would have made up at least 50 or 60 yards at that point. That would have been at least 280 there. And they never really had Mac throw the ball deep again. I don't know what the majority of the story was. I mean, I thought Juju Smith-Schuster in this game was great in this game. This was his best game as a Patriot by far. I mean, it's not even close at this point. And you're talking about a guy that's stepping up in the right direction since Kendrick Bourne went down with an injury. It just that's in a story. Between Stevenson, Smith-Schuster, and Demario Douglas, I thought they were great in this game. This is one of their best performances they had all year long, and it comes up with a loss at home. And Ramon Stevenson, who had 9 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown, he had also had 14. He had 4 catches for 42 yards. He was targeted 6 times in the game. He was a difference maker in this game. Without them, I don't know what they would have done. Sam Howell, 29 for 45, 325 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The story of this game was that Sam Howell had the big play that really kind of got Washington back in the game, changed the whole momentum of the game. Then he had Brian Robinson Jr. with a touchdown run. That was like right around in the second quarter that made it 10-0 for 9 yards out. Then the Patriots responded with 2 more touchdowns later on. But either way you look at it, the Patriots screwed themselves in this game. I think it was Mac Jones, throwing that play to Smith-Schuster. If he would have caught that play, would they have setting up for a field goal there? Probably. I don't know if they would have won in overtime, but that would have been at least a competitive fifth period right there for both the Commanders and the Patriots. Rams-Packers, Jordan Love. This is coming off a weekend right now where he was going in there losing 4 straight. Story of the game was that Aaron Jones was in the game. First game back with the team. It's third possession here in the game. Started out like this. Love the Jeruga for 7 yards there. A couple plays later, after the first down run again by Jones from 7 yards. Dillon responded with a 12-yard run. He gets a first down. Then a few plays later there, Aaron Jones gets in the end zone, a 3-yard run there, makes it 7-0 Packers. And initially off a fumble as well. Let's go back to the struggles in this game here. Brett Ripken fumbled, recovered. There's a face mask that was enforced. Then a few plays later, the same thing happens again here. Ripken gets sacked again, forced fumble here. That's 2 fumbles here in the same possession there, which gave Green Bay the ball, which set up the 7-0 touchdown score. Then a field goal, then a missed field goal. Then the Packers had a fumble of their own. First play from Love to Devontae Wicks. He fumbles the ball. Witherspoon forces the ball out and recovers it right there. Rams get the ball right back. And that's after the Packers had a missed field goal before the end of the half right here. Then the Packers again fumble it again. This is on a 1st and 10. Jones got the handoff for 9 yards there. Fuller forces the fumble for the Rams. Shelley recovers it right there for the Rams. Rams get the ball right back. Rams missed the field goal there. Then the Packers kick a field goal. Then Ripken again. Trying to throw to Cooper Kupp. That's picked up by Johnson. That's up for a field goal there. Then we'll get to the touchdown here towards the end of this game here. So Love at the Rams 20-yard line. He drops back, throws a pass down the middle of Luke Musgrave in the end zone there. That's a touchdown there. Gets the Packers on the board. They're now up 20 to 3. And the Rams, which they're trying to make something happen at this point, 4th and 2. Trying to go again for Cooper Kupp. That's incomplete. Packers beat the Rams yet again. They win 20 to 3. Keep in mind when I made this pick, Matthew Stafford was out with a thumb injury, which I should have mentioned in the opening here that happened to Stafford. He was ruled out of the game with a thumb when he hurt the thumb last Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. So I should have thought that he was going to play in this game. He was ruled questionable. I think they kept him out of this game because, I mean, maybe we'll hear something more on it later on. I mean, I thought he was active for the game, and then news hit that he was inactive, and I'm like, okay, they kept him out of the game for some strange reason. But otherwise, Love in his game was fine. 20 for 26, 228 yards. This is probably one of his better games he's had all season up to this point against a really good Ram defense. Otherwise, overall, Love did okay for the most part. Musgrave was the only touchdown catch in the game. And you have Wicks with a 4 catch for 49 yards along with the fumble loss. Watts had the 1 catch for 37 yards. That's really all he wrote in that game. Dukes had 3 catches for 36 yards, and Jones had 4 catches for 26. Otherwise, this was a pretty solid day for the Packers offensive wide receiving core. I thought it was pretty solid for the most part. Cooper Kupp, only 2 catches for 48 yards. Nakua had 3 catches for 32. This is a case where they could have used Matthew Stafford in this game. Unless Stafford's injury got worse, I don't know what the story was in this game, why he didn't play in that game, but they could have used him. He could have set up and played in this game. Vikings and the Falcons in Atlanta. This was the story of the game right now at this point. The game opened up with a series of punts. Jaron Hall got concussed in the game. It was in the second quarter. He got taken out of the game. There was this play right here by Dobbs here. Sack ends up by Calais Campbell. That's a say right there. It's a 5-3 game. Falcons then drive the ball down the field. Taylor Heineke throwing a pass to Juano Smith there. He runs out of bounds, 16-yard play. That's a first down for the Falcons. A few plays later, Heineke again to Kyle Pitts for 11 yards. That's a first down. Heineke again. That's a 1-yard to Brian Robinson Jr. Then Heineke's thrown at Allegren, and he goes the wrong way. He loses 8 yards. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. This, by the way, is a nice little slider right here I'm about to eat right now. That's really good. And Heineke tries to get them back into he's back in the red zone there. He's 9 yards short of 4 yards short of that. It was on a 9-yard play. So that's enough for a field goal. It's 8-3 Falcons. Then the Vikings get the ball. 3rd and 11. Going for Powell there. Pass interference called by the Falcons. Then Dobbs gets sacked. He loses the ball. Recovered by the Falcons. That led to a field goal there. It's now 11-3. Now here's a touchdown drive right here that really changed everything here. So Dobbs had a pass to Akers there, and he gets for 5 yards there. Then a 6-yard play. Then Dobbs doing an incomplete pass. A few plays later, deep play to Jordan Addison. That's caught at the Falcon 13-yard line. That's a 22-yard play. Then Akers gets sacked. He's trying to go for the running back pass. That went nowhere. Then Dobbs threw a pass at Hawkinson there. That's for 7 yards. A few plays later, Dobbs to Madison. 2 yards out there. Touchdown. Vikings get on the board. They're now down by 1 now. It's now 11-10. 13 plays, 75-yard drive. Falcons kick a field goal after a Vikings fumble here. That was once again Dobson fumbled again. Then the Falcons get on board right now. This was on after a penalty was called by Smith for the Falcons for a legal shift. Heineke throws a pass to Juano Smith, and he's gone 60 yards down the field. That's out of the end zone right there. It's now 21-13. Then the Falcons on their next position. Robinson runs to the left side. He fumbles it. Vikings recover. That leads to a touchdown right there by the Vikings. And Dobbs, he scrambles, he runs it in from 18 yards out right now, and throws a 2-point conversion. Game is tied at 21 apiece. Then Heineke, looking for Bird, it's picked off by Murphy. And return for 18 yards there. That's set up for a field goal right here for the Vikings. Later on, Falcons trying to get back on the board. 13-yard scramble from Heineke at 39. A few plays later, Allgaier, he runs for 13 yards for a first down. 2 plays here, Allgaier again, 5 yards. He's in the end zone. It's 28-24. Then the Vikings, they got a drive going to their own. Dobbs to Addison. Dobbs to Addison again a couple of plays later. Dobbs scrambling for 3. Throwing a pile there, incomplete. They go for a 4th down. He scrambles right to the right side. He gets a 22-yard run. That sets it for a first down there and a nice 4th and long conversion. Then a few plays later, they're at the 6-yard line. Dobbs again, passing over to Powell again for 6 yards out. That's a touchdown there. 11 plays, 75 yards. The previous drive of the Falcons was a 13-play, 79-yard drive. But Falcons ran out of time. Heineke trying to throw a deep Hail Mary. Deflected by Murphy. That's incomplete. Vikings get the win. Jaron Hall got concussed. Cam Akers may have tore his Achilles, by the way, in the game. Because I was on a running play. London was out with an ankle injury. I think Calais Campbell left with an injury. I don't know who else left an injury in this game. There was a lot of injuries. A lot of players left the game with injuries. But the Vikings get the 31-28 win over the Falcons. Ravens Seahawks. All I got to say about this right now is that this was a dominant game by the Ravens here. This was Gus Edwards all day long. He just had answers. Mitchell had a running play, and Huntley had a touchdown. I mean, this was a complete blowout. This game wasn't even close. Geno Smith, 13 for 28, 157 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Kenneth Walker III could not average any more than 2 yards. He had 9 carries for 16 yards. The whole team combined had 15 carries for 28 yards. Smith and Ngaba had 6 catches for 63 yards. Metcalf had 1 catch for 50 yards. Lucky had 3 catches for 32 yards. It was a bad day for the Seahawks. But Lamar Jackson had anything going. 21 for 26, 187 yards. He had 10 carries on 60 yards. Mitchell had 9 carries for 138 yards. He had a big 40-yard touchdown run at one point. Gus Edwards had 2 touchdowns. He's had 5 rushing touchdowns in his last 2 games. 3 last week against the Cardinals. Now this week, 2 against the Seahawks. 3 rushing touchdowns overall, and it was not even Lamar Jackson that was running the ball a lot. That's the funny thing. This is all Gus Edwards and all Mitchell combined to put the Seahawks away. And I got to be honest here. Good run for Seattle at first to be in first place in that division. I mean, we'll see what happens going forward with them, but wow. I mean, you talk about completely being torched in Baltimore the way they were. They had no answer. There was fumble losses. There was turnovers. It was so much. The 12-yard, 81-yard drive there. They got the first touchdown drive going. I thought that was pretty good. Just the amount of passing that Lamar Jackson has, the arm he's getting better with. I mean, just the way he's getting people open with Mark Andrews, the likes of Andrews getting open so much and helping the team out. It's been a blessing here. Odell Beckham Jr. getting his first touchdown reception as a Raven. He had 5 catches for 56 yards in the touchdown. That came from Tyler Huntley. Mark Andrews had 9 catches for 80 yards. I mean, Isaiah Likely, 4 catches for 42. Bateman had 3 catches for 28. Everyone had their hands on the ball here. Zay Flowers was really not a factor in this game. They really didn't even need him. He had 1 play with a 1 catch for 11 yards for a first down. But that was really about it. Let's get to the 2 other games that I really aren't even worth going into here. Deshaun Watson he made his return to Cleveland. The Browns, they torched the Cardinals here. There was no chance here. Third quarter, Watson throws a pass to Ngochu. That's a 3-play, 11-yard drive, and I'll get you to the reasoning to that one in just a second here. But this was ugly. I mean, this was just like there were not really a lot of long drives by the Browns either. Clinton, too, was sacked. He lost 8 yards. It was Harris that forced the fumble. Myles Garrett got the recovery there. That was the story in this game, is that they just had no answers at this point, at any point in time. And the Browns got in the end zone pretty quickly. You had an interception that set up a missed field goal. They tried going on 4th down. Then you had the touchdown right here that really sealed the deal there at that point. It was Kareem Hunt. He ran it in himself from 3 yards out. 27-0 Browns. Watson has returned, 19 for 30, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. You had the one touchdown to Amari Cooper that opened up the game initially, then Goju later on in the game. Cooper had 5 catches for 139 yards. He was the story of this game. For the Cardinals, it was Tune, 11 for 20, 58 yards, 2 picks, only averaged 2.9 yards per pass play. He had no answer, and he was sacked 7 times in this game by that Brown defense. They are the number 1 ranked defense in the league. He recovered a fumble. Tataki got an interception. Denzel Ward got a pick in there. Otherwise, I mean, that was the majority of the story of this game. The 7 sacks came from Elliott, Myles Garrett. He got a sack in there as well. Dalvin Thompson, he got 2.5 sacks in the game. So Darius Smith got a sack. Shelby Harris got a sack. Grant Delpy was part of that half a sack there, right there, towards the end of this game. But otherwise, 7 sacks. Watson was only sacked once in the game. That was really about it. Not much else to say about that one, really. The Raiders beat the Giants 30-6. Daniel Jones did tear his ACL. He's done for the year. It was on a non-contact play midway in the second quarter. They had Tommy DeVito replace him in the game. He finished with 9 for 12, 125 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. They missed the extra point. This couldn't come at a worse time here, because now you're stuck with Tommy DeVito now at this point, which, I mean, or he was 15 for 20 for 175 yards and a touchdown, 2 picks. Aiden O'Connell, 16 for 25, 209 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Didn't really matter in this game. It really came down to the defense in this game. They played great in this game. I thought, Adams and, Myers, they were pretty good. 6 catches there for about 72 yards combined. Hunter Renfrow got 2 catches for 32 yards. Josh Jacobs had his best game yet so far. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in the game for 26 for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. Otherwise, the Giants without Daniel Jones, they might as well be good as done. Even with Daniel Jones, they were done. But now they got either Tommy DeVito or Tyrod Taylor next week, depending on what's going on with Tyrod Taylor. Not sure why they didn't put Tyrod Taylor in that game, but it ain't working out. Whatever's going on down there with the Giants, it's not working out. It was not a fun afternoon, to say the least here. We have the Texans and the Buccaneers. This was a scoregami game of the year type of game. This was a quarterback duel that really got people talking here. Opened up with a fumble by the Texans, believe it or not. Stroud threw it past Dalton Schultz, the former Dallas Cowboy. He fumbled it, recovered by Antoine Winfield. Devontae Davis forced the fumble. That set up a field goal there. Next drive for the Texans, 2nd and 7. Stroud throws a pass down the middle of Nathaniel Dell for 15 yards. A couple plays later, Stroud tried to throw it to Nick Brown. He gets 6 yards out of it, short in the first. But Shaquille Parent called for roughing the passer there. That forces a 15-yard penalty. Then Stroud throws a pass to Nico Collins for 14 yards out right there. That's the touchdown right there. 7-3. Texans get on the board. They're up 7-3. Buccaneers respond to their own. Mayfield throwing a pass to Rashard White for 33 yards out there. That gets a first down to the Bucs. Then Mayfield threw a pass to Mike Evans for 10 yards out. Then Vaughn had a run for 1 yard. Then Vaughn another run for 1 yard. Mayfield was sacked by Will Anderson, the rookie out of Alabama. But then a penalty was called by Ward for unnecessary roughness and forced. And there was another penalty that was on Stewart that was declined for illegal contact. So they went for a 15-yard instead. Then Mayfield, then White again from 4 yards out. Then Mayfield trying to throw a pass to Chris Godwin. He gets 5 yards there, but a penalty was called for on Gogake with a holding call. Then Mayfield again to Godwin for 15 yards there. They're well short, just by 4 yards. Then White gets a 3-yard run for first down. Then Mayfield, he runs it. He gets try to run it himself, but loses 2 yards. Then Mayfield, the Cade Oden, he gets in the end zone. It's 10-7. 13 plays, 75 yards, under just about 7 minutes into it there. Second quarter for the Bucks. Mayfield, White gets an 11-yard run. A few plays later, White runs it himself. It's 17-7 at that point. Bucks are up by 10. Texans get a field goal themselves. Then the Bucks again, Mayfield to White. The parent was unnecessary roughness there with that penalty with a late hit. Then Mayfield those are pass to Owen right now. He's well short right now. That sets up a field goal, 20-10. Now here's the play here to change everything here. So CJ Stroud, he's on the pass to Nick Brown, 75 yards. That's a touchdown right there. It's 20-16. They get a 2-point conversion. It failed. Then Tyrone intercepted the try attempt. The attempt failed. The penalty was on the Buccaneers for unsportsmanlike conduct. That was enforced on a kickoff there. That next drive, the Buccaneers got a field goal out of it there. So that was that. Texans get the ball back 23 yards from Stroud to Nico Collins again down the middle. Had a run for 9 yards there. Short for the first down. There was a holding call on Houston for Singletary trying to run up the middle there. Then Stroud, 26 yards to the Schultz. And then one more time, CJ Stroud to Nathaniel Dell, 30 yards out. That's a touchdown there. 23-22. They also failed a 2-point conversion in that one. So they were down by 1 in this game. Buccaneers had a punt. Stroud to Schultz with 13 yards out there. 6-yard play to Beck. A 12-yard play to Hutchinson there. 11-yard play to Dalton Schultz again. They go for a 4th and goal. He gets a pass from Schultz right there. 9 yards. They take the lead there. It's 30-23. Then the Buccaneers respond with a touchdown drive there. Baker Mayfield 53-yard gets a 54-yard touchdown, and right there on that touchdown, he got his 11,000 yards receiving in his career. That's a milestone for him. I believe that's tied for 10th time, I want to say at this point. Anyway, so they get on the board there. Game is now tied at 30 apiece. Texans kick a field goal. Then the Buccaneers get another touchdown there. Baker Mayfield deep play to Palmer for 21 yards. That's well short of the third down there. 4th and 2. Mayfield scrambled right there, gets the first down. Mayfield fumbled, was recovered. It was a rule of fumble. Then it was a rule an incomplete pass. Then a 14-yard play to Cade Oten right there. And we thought the game was over. 49 seconds left. That was on a 10-play, 61-yard drive. Then the Texans, they were not done. Stroud, 14 yards. 6 yards to Schultz again by back-to-back throws. 14 yards to Brown. Then a couple plays. Then Nathaniel Dell gets a 26-yard run on a bounce. Then Stroud throws it to Dell again for 15 yards right there. That's a touchdown there. Flag on the Bucks. Levante Davis unsportsmanlike conduct. That was enforced on the kickoff. They failed a 2-point conversion. Then Mayfield throws it to Palmer. They were trying to lateral the ball on to Hainsey there. Lateral to Oten. Ho-Tutu fumbled right there. Recovered by Houston there. Ball game is over. Texans get the W at home against the Buccaneers, 39-37. Mayfield, 21 for 30, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. CJ Stroud, 30 for 42, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. The most ever out of a rookie. He broke rookie records here. That was the most passing yards by a rookie ever in NFL history. Most touchdowns with that stat ever. And the fact of the matter is, this stat's unbelievable. He's got 16 touchdowns and 1 pick. That is the best touchdown interception ratio since Tom Brady in 2016, where he was out with those first 4 games with the Deflategate stuff. Think about that for a minute. That is prime Tom Brady mode right there. I think CJ Stroud has got the Tom Brady mentality. And I think Shedeur Sanders lost his a long time ago. But that was the game of the year. That was a back and forth affair. There was no penalties that really ruin the game, I don't think. You want to talk about a slobber knocker of a game, a hell of a game, a hell of a run by the Texans. That was huge. And I don't know if this team's a playoff team. They're 4-4 on the year. But that was a battle of two teams who were trying to make a statement. And if after this game, if you can't take the Houston Texans seriously after this game, I don't know what you're thinking. I really don't. I really don't know what you're thinking at that point. But that was by far one of the better games of the afternoon. By far. Dolphins and Chiefs, they played earlier that morning in London. Mahomes threw 2 touchdown passes. That was really all you needed to know. 11 yards to Rasheed Rice there. Then another one to 17 yards for Jared McKinnon. He gets in there 14-0. This was also in the second quarter here. Tagovailoa throwing to Tyreek Hill. This I think should have been blown dead, but it was forced out by McDuffie. Recovered by Mike Edwards. He laterals it to Brian Cook. He returns it 59 yards to the house. It's 21-0. Tua throws a deep pass to Wilson there for 31 yards. That's a touchdown. Then a 13-yard pass play to Rasheed Morset there. That's a touchdown there. 21-14. Dolphins trying to go for a 4th down. He fumbles the snap right there, gets sacked. Chiefs survive. They win 21-14. I thought this game overall wasn't really a blowaway game. The drive that was behind Tyreek Hill and them leaving Kansas City and him getting his revenge game. He didn't really get his revenge, really. In the game overall, Tua threw for 1 touchdown, no picks. Morse had a 13-yard run himself with on 12 carries, 85 yards and a touchdown. Waddle was banged up during the game. He wasn't really the same after that injury where he tweaked his ankle. Hill had 8 catches for 62 yards. Waddle had 3 catches for 42. Cedric Wilson Jr. had the 1 catch for 31 yards. That was in the end zone there. Jeff Wilson had 3 catches for 32 yards. Smith had 3 catches for 17. They were at one point in this game, believe it or not. I think they were, and I kid you not when I say this, they were sacked 3 times in this game. The Chiefs were sacked twice. But on 3rd down, they were 3 for 12 in this game. Worst stat they had all year. Chiefs had 3 for 10. That's also worst they had all year. The Dolphins had more first downs. They had 20 first downs. They had more time possession here, but they just couldn't do anything with it. They had missed opportunities, bad drives. They just weren't ready in this game. I think Tyreek Hill, the mood changed a little bit. There was more lovey-dovey with Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and Mahomes, and I guess a little bit with Chris Jones, they were saying, but I didn't get the chance to see it. So that really changed the whole mood of that game. I had a funny feeling that the Dolphins were going to struggle in this game. And I guess that's what it was. I guess it was just too lovey-dovey at that point in time. It didn't feel like a revenge game. It really didn't. Because, I mean, at that point, it's like, I don't know, maybe we had a different feeling once they meet up in Kansas City in the AFC title game this year, if they make it that far. Otherwise, this did not feel like the revenge game it needed to be. It never really got to that second gear. Anyway, Chicago Bears at the Saints. Taysom Hill touchdown receiving and passing record was broken in this game here. This was an unbelievable stat, by the way. I mean, he was the main star of this game, I thought, from start to finish. I mean, he had 11 carries for 52 yards. He had a receiving touchdown, and I think he also had a but anyway, Tyson Badger, he gets an 18-yard pass on a 9-play, 75-yard drive. Saints respond with a 10-play, 45-yard drive from Chris Olave, 8 yards out, touchdown there. It's 7-7. Badger again, 9 yards to Cole Kmet again. His second touchdown in the game. It's 14-7. Then Carr to Taysom Hill, 2 yards out, 14-0. Saints get a field goal. The Bears get a field goal there. Then the Saints reported is eligible there. Taysom Hill threw in a pass to Johnson there from 3 yards out there, 24-17. And that's the majority of the story. Badger had some turnovers in the game. He threw 3 picks in the game. He threw one to Abayo twice, and then to Marcus May. There were some forced fumbles in there as well. That was forced out by was forced out Davis, and one that was forced out by Bale, who then recovered it. But otherwise in this game, it was 2 or 3 sacks, one by Jordan, one by Demario Davis. And that was really about it. Saints get to win 24-17. They now improved to 5-4, and they are on top right now in the NFC South. Tough game. You know, I figured Tyson Badger was going to start in this game. Justin Fields was inactive in the game, even though he was ruled questionable. Otherwise, not much else to tell in this game, really. This game just never really got out of second gear for Chicago, despite, how much, Badger played. Badger didn't play great in this game, but he showed some strides. I mean, he's got a lot to learn at this point, not to underestimate a lot of teams. Derek Carr, 25 for 34, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. That was the moral of the story there with that one. But for Taysom Hill, who has accomplished something that no one's accomplished in over 66 years, he has, and this stat's crazy right now at this point. This hasn't happened since Frank Gifford, Hall of Fame halfback for the Giants back in the 1950s, started this record. But that's company Taysom Hill finds himself at this weekend. By virtue of his 2-yard touchdown reception in the second quarter, Hill became the first player since Gifford to have at least 10 career touchdown receptions. Touchdown receptions, rushes, and touchdown passes. Gifford accomplished that feat in 1957. He finished his career with 14 touchdown passes, 34 touchdown runs, and 43 touchdown receptions. That is by far awesome, by the way. Juwan Johnson, by the way, got the touchdown reception from Taysom Hill when he threw the pass. Hill has now got 11 career touchdown passes, 26 touchdown runs, and 10 touchdown receptions. He needs to get at least 20 or 30 more before this career is done at this point. This is a guy at this point now who's a difference maker on this team. They better keep this guy around long term. These are Hall of Fame stats that Taysom Hill's put him at the age of 33. He's been in the NFL now for a long time, and really about 5 or 6 years at this point, and he's been playing like he's been here for 20, and he's doing everything. So it's great stuff. It really is. Yeah. The Buccaneers wide receiving numbers now, I'm just wearing now. So he reaches 11,000. He surpasses the receiving yards with 11,000 receiving yards. And Mike Evans continues to move up the NFL career receiving list, already first player in league history to begin his career with 9 straight 1,000-yard games. He's the 39th player in league history to reach 11,000 career receiving yards during Sunday's game against the Houston Texans. Congrats to Mike Evans, and again, congrats to Taysom Hill. Well deserved. A lot of records broken here. CJ Stroud, again, 470 yards, passing yards, most ever by a rookie. Again, congrats to them. He shredded that Buccaneer defense. Absolutely shredded them. A lot of record-breaking things. That's all I got to say. A lot of record-breaking things that happened over the weekend. I thought it was pretty good. Pretty good stuff we saw over the weekend here. Colts and Panthers. I'm not going to really get deep into this whole thing. This was Frank Reich's former team that was going into Carolina this weekend right now. Didn't get the revenge that he wanted. Kenny Moore had 2 pick sixes in the game. I'll give him right to you right now. He had the first. You got Jonathan Taylor. He gets a 10-yard reception on a 9-play, 64-yard drive. That took about 5 minutes there. Bryce Young got picked up by Kenny Moore. Pick 6 there, 49 yards, 20-3. And then why not? One more time, Kenny Moore again, 34 yards out there, 27-10 there. That really sealed the deal there. Bryce Young in this game, not hot at all in this game. 24 for 39, 173 yards, 1 touchdown. He was picked off 3 times in this game. Colts get to win 27-13. Not much else to tell there in that game, really. That game was pitiful to watch. And for Frank Reich, you know your heart's broken. You know you were wronged by this team. You were looking for revenge, and it just didn't pan out for you in that way. Very terrible. Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. This was a fun game in Philadelphia at this point. Riley renewed. The 129th meeting with Dallas lead most of the series. First quarter, the Eagles started a nice little rally. 6-yard play to A.J. Brown. And then a couple plays later, Hurts scrambling there right there for 4 yards there. Well short. Going for it again on 4th down. They get the push there. 2 yards first down. Nice play right there. for Jalen Hurts. Second and 10, Hurts threw the 8 yards. So Chu was there for a first down. Then a 20-yard play to A.J. Brown. A few plays later, Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown again for 12 yards there. Well short. Gilmore and Parsons on a tackle. 4th and 3, Hurts to Dallas Goedert for 15 yards. And next play, Gainwell, he gets it in from 12 yards out there. 12-yard run. Touchdown. Eagles are up 7-0. 13 plays, 77 yards. About 8 minutes that drive took about. 8 minutes. And then it was a unsportsmanlike conduct there, which allowed Dallas to get the ball down there. And Terry was able to return that one 48 yards. So, 3rd and 3, Prescott scrambling there. He gets 4 yards. Then Powell runs for 2 yards. Then Prescott throws a pass to Ferguson for 7 yards. Then Prescott on a 4th and 1, passing into CeeDee Lamb for 30 yards down to the 4. The next play, Jake Ferguson, he gets a touchdown right now. The Cowboys are on the board. They're tied at 7 apiece right now. 8 plays, 53-yard drive, almost about 5 minutes. After an Eagles punt, Cowboys get the ball right back. Prescott passing it to Pollard for 8 yards there. Then Prescott again to Jake Ferguson, throwing it deep, caught, push out of bounds, first down, 40 yards at the Philly 34-yard line. Prescott gets sacked. Then Prescott fumbles the ball. Then Prescott gets back on top of it right now. That was on a play where it was supposed to be handed off to Prescott, handed off to Tony Pollard, but Prescott fumbled the ball. Then 3rd and 14, CeeDee Lamb, when you really need him, 20 yards out there. That's a first down. Reddick injured his knee. Would come back out to play the rest of the game. A few plays later, Prescott throws a pass. It's Turpin there for 5 yards out. They had to go review the play right now. Play stood. Cowboys got it on the board, 14-7. 9 plays, 82 yards, 3 minutes, 49 seconds. Eagles get on the board right now, second quarter. 39. Jalen Hurts throws a pass to Devontae Smith. That's good for 19 yards down to the Dallas 4. Then Hurts again throwing a Swift for 20 yards there. Then a 5-yard one by Swift. A few plays later, Swift, Malik Hooker fumbled, recovered by Dallas by Bell. The replay was reviewed. It was determined that it was reversed. It was not a fumble. I think it was down by contact. So, few plays later, Hurts runs it up the middle for 1 yard out there. It's 14-0. 11 plays, 60-yard drive. The Cowboys get a field goal there. It's 17-14. Third quarter, Devontae Smith from Jalen Hurts, 29 yards out. That's a touchdown. They get on the board. It's 21-17. Cowboys had a punt. Eagles get the ball right back. And right here, Hurts to Dallas Goedert. He gets it down to the Dallas 13, 28 yards right there. He landed on his forearm. Was injured in play. He did not come. Set up right there. Jalen Hurts again to A.J. Brown for 4 yards out there. He gets on the board. It's now 28-17. 11 plays, 87 yards, 6 minutes, 18 seconds. Cowboys, they try to get something going right now. They get a 9-yard play to Gallup, a 7-yard play to Tony Pollard, an 8-yard play to Gallup, a 9-yard play to CeeDee Lamb. And Prescott again ran up the middle right now. At first it was short. Then they ruled the first down. Then Kevin Byard started shoving people. He gets flagged. So despite the first down, they added an extra 15 yards there. Then this happens. Incomplete pass to Ferguson. Pollard runs up for 3 yards there. Prescott tried to scramble scramble again. He was short. Then then Prescott threw a pass to Shoemaker. It was ruled a touchdown, but his left knee hit the ground first. It was short of the goal line. They ruled it then a no touchdown. That kind of changed the momentum of the game there. Then Dallas the ball right back. And Prescott, 32 yards to Tolbert right there, to Jalen Tolbert right there. That was a great play. Then Prescott runs it, throws a pass to Tyler right there. That's a touchdown right there. Then they try to go for 2. Prescott's foot did step out of bounds at the line there. They could not convert the 2-point conversion right now. 28-23. Dallas again trying to go for it on 4th down. They could not get it. It was an incomplete pass to Jalen Tolbert. And then Dallas had the ball right back. But then it was fumbled by actually, it wasn't even fumbled. They called it a fumble, but it wasn't. It was Prescott throwing the ball. Again, to see him last chance. He's trying to lateral to somebody. There was nobody there. And the ball was forced out. Eagles get the win. They survive at home. They moved to 8-1. They win 28-23. This was a hell of a game. Between the Texans and Buccaneers and Eagles and Cowboys, those are your 2 best games of the entire day. This was an instant classic. I mean, you talk about a game from start to finish. 2 teams looking to make a statement. 2 of the top defenses out there. Philadelphia not the top defense, but Dallas part of that in that conversation, full there. But that game in of itself was amazing. Prescott 29 for 44, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He outplayed Jalen Hurts. This was the first time he lost Jalen Hurts legitimately here. And between the penalties that were at the end there, overs on downs, and the fumble there, the lateral there, it just Dallas had this game. If it wasn't for the dumb penalties and the dumb time management right there and not going for the spike, they were trying to run a play. I thought that was pretty stupid too. That cost him the game too, I think. Jalen Hurts was 17 for 23, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 207 yards throwing. A.J. Brown, his streak is over. He only had 7 catches for 66 yards. He did get a touchdown, however, though. Devontae Smith had 3 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown. Gar had 3 catches for 50 yards. Hopefully the forearm's okay, though. I hope he's in good spirits right now at this point. He heals up and plays whenever they play again, which will be not until week 11 on Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs on November 20th. So that should be a good game there. Final game of the night, Buffalo Bills at the Cincinnati Bengals. This was an interesting starter here. Great drive by the Bengals here. You know when Joe Burrow's back when you open with a drive like this. Burrow throws a play to Mixon for 8 yards there. Nice little play there. Then a 15-yard play to Mixon. And then a few plays later there, Joe Burrow, he throws a pass to Tanner Hudson for 6 yards there. Then an 18-yard play to T. Higgins. Then an 11-yard play to Irv Smith Jr. And then one more time to Irv Smith Jr. Welcome to the jungle. To Irv Smith Jr. last night for the Bengals. 7-0 Bengals going to pop around. 9 plays, 76-yard drive, 5 minutes, 42 seconds. That was an unbelievable drive there. Bills, they got a little drive of their own going right now. They're starting from their own 17. Or 16-yard line, excuse me. 5-yard play to Dalton Kincaid. Then a 9-yard play to Stephon Diggs. Then I don't know how this happened here. He throws a play right. This should have been stopped at some point, 5 or 10 yards. He breaks about 6 or 7 tackles. That's a 35-yard play. Then Shakir had 22 yards. Then a 13-yard play to Dalton Kincaid. Then Allen scrambled. He ran into himself right now. He pointed at a defender. He got flagged, but the touchdown did count. It was unsportsmanlike conduct there. 7-all there at that point. Bengals get the ball right back. They drive right back down the field. Burrow throwing an incomplete pass there. Buffalo settle call for roughing the passer there. Instead of a 15-yard penalty. Then Burrow gets a pass, 9-yard plays to Andre who, by the way, I thought was a tight end. Turns out he's a wide receiver. A few plays later, Burrow throws a pass to Tyler Boyd. He runs out of bounds for 15 yards there, gets a first down. Then Hudson again. He was compared to the next Travis Kelce. And the way he played last night, I thought it was pretty damn close. And he had a 13-yard reception. Then a couple plays later there, 12 yards to Higgins again. And then Mixon runs it himself for 2 yards out there. They get on the board again, 14-7, 11 plays, 69 yards, 5 minutes, 28 seconds. The Bills get the ball at the Bengals punt. Allen drops back from his own 12, going for Gay Davis. It's picked up by Cam Taylor-Britt. It's no game there, but it didn't matter there. The Bengals got forced back with some penalties. They had something going there. They had a pass to Hudson at that point. Burrow scrambled for about 8 yards. There was a holding call called by Alex Kappa there. Then an offside call by Floyd. Then Burrow was sacked, but then they called a holding on Volton. That was declined. Then a false start by Orlando Brown Jr. on a 54-yard field goal attempt, which set up the punt there. And at that point in time, it was punt to the punt to the punt. Then the Bengals get back on the board. Burrow throwing a true sample for 22 yards out there. That's a touchdown right now. The Bengals get back on the board. It's 21-7. Then the Bills kick a field goal. Then the Bills had a drive going on right now. The Bengals tried to go for it on fourth down, couldn't get it. Allen threw a pass to Dalton Kincaid for 11 yards there. Nick Scott and Pratt forced a fumble. Nick Scott recovered it. Officially ruled a reception for 9 yards. So the Bills turned it over there. They had a drive going. It was stopped. There was an intentional grounding at one point, and Allen lost it there, but I guess he was trying to throw it away at that point. It was called for intentional grounding. That was in the second quarter. Fourth quarter, Josh Allen gets a drive going right now at this point. 11-yard play to scramble right there. Then a 9-yard play to then a 6-yard run pass to Latavius Murray. Then Allen throws his pass for 17 yards to Stephon Diggs. That was a 12-play, 75-yard drive in 4 minutes and 36 seconds. The Bengals kept the ball. 32 yards to Tyler Boyd. 2-yard play to Mixon, a 5-yard Mixon run, another run. And then that was about it at that point in time. That sealed the deal there. The Bengals won their 4th straight game. They get the W over the Buffalo Bills, 24-18. That was a fantastic Sunday Night Football game. Great low-scoring defensive matchup. And I thought from start to finish, this game was great. This was the best performance that I could think of with Joe Burrow here. Back-to-back weeks, 31 for 44, 348 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. T. Higgins was a story in this game. He had 8 catches for 110 yards. Tyler Boyd had 3 catches for 56. The next, Travis Kelce, was it Tanner Hudson? Yeah, Tanner Hudson here played great in this game as well. Jamar Chase had 4 catches for 41 yards. Sample had 3 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown. Irv Smith had 3 catches for 26 and a touchdown. Otherwise, the Bengals have got so much star power at this point. And like I said before, I'll say it again, they're not going to lose another game. The way Burrow's playing right now, he's playing on a totally different level. He's confident now at this point. The calf's not in his head anymore. To have back-to-back weeks the way he played against that 49er defense and this Buffalo Bills defense last night, that was at the best at full health that they could possibly be at. They played tremendous in this game. Josh Allen, 26 for 38, 258 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He's on 9 interceptions in 9 weeks of football. Not good for the Buffalo Bills. They dropped to 5-4. A lot of AFC East losers over the weekend here. Buffalo losing to Cincinnati, Miami losing to Kansas City, then New England losing to Washington. I mean, this was not a good weekend for the AFC East. The Dolphins still remain in first place. But my takeaway on this whole thing was that Josh Allen led the team in rushing. Cook was shut down with 6 carries for 20 yards. Diggs had 6 catches for 86 yards. Dalton Kincaid had 10 catches for 81 yards and the fumble. Diggs had the 1 touchdown return late in the 4th. But otherwise, they never got the ball back. The Buffalo Bills relied on their defense. I think they should have onside kicked it here, caught them off guard a little bit here. They didn't try to attempt for that. I don't know why. But otherwise, the story of this game was that Jordan Poyer had his best game, had 8 tackles. He was Rapp was in there. Razoo Douglas was in there. He looked pretty good as a backup at that point. Rapp was in there. Terrell Bennett was out there. He only had a couple of tackles. I think he was injured at one point. I don't think he came back in. Norman reunited with Sean McDermott from their Panther days. Otherwise, all the way around, it was all Cincinnati throughout the entire night, and they played excellent football. They played excellent defense. They kind of contained Josh Allen, and they kind of contained that Buffalo Bill rush attack here with 68 yards of rushing they allowed in this game. This was surprisingly a low-scoring game. I thought this would be a duel. It was kind of disappointing that Damar Hamlin did not play in this game. They did rule him inactive here. I'm not sure what the story of this was. He was ruled active on Friday, and then late yesterday, for whatever reason, they ruled inactive here. And I don't know if it's just a fact right now that the Bills just don't want him out there right now at this point, if they don't trust those doctors in Cincinnati. Whatever the case may be, this was not good news for Damar Hamlin. I think for a guy who wants to go back out there, who hasn't really played since week 2 when he was on special teams against the Raiders, I just think that's just – I don't know what they're trying to do here. I really won't. He's only had 1 real football game, and that was against the Raiders. And I don't know. It leaves me wondering. It leaves me wondering. Anyway, we had college football on over the weekend here. Week 10. I'm just going to give you the scores and highlights here. Clemson beat Notre Dame 31-23. I was wrong in that one there. That was your upset. Shocker of the weekend here. Sam Hartman did not play well in this game at all. 13 for 30, 146 yards. He was picked off twice. Estime tried to get something going. He had 17 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown. Hartman had 7 carries for 68 yards and a touchdown. The story was that there was no Will Shipley. He was out with a concussion protocol. Marvin had a 41-yard run. Then Klubnik had a 9-yard touchdown pass to Brown. Then Hartman threw a pick six to Trotter from 28 yards out. Estime had a 2-yard run. Then Sam Hartman had a 26-yard run to really try to come back in this game, but they just couldn't get anything going. And time ran out there. Clemson got the win 31-23. Ohio State Buckeyes, number 1 ranked team in the country, beat Rutgers 35-16. 17th ranked Tennessee beating UConn 59-3. Ole Miss beating Texas A&M 38-35. 7th ranked Texas in overtime beating Kansas State 33-30. Malik Murphy in the game went off. He had about 248 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. For Kansas State, Howard had 327 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 26 for 42 throwing in the game. 2 was Brock Halla, got blown out by Penn State at home. Penn State 11th ranked in the country. They take on Michigan next week. They won 51-15 in Maryland. 6th ranked Oregon beat Cal 63-19. Bodacious, running wild. 4 touchdown passes, and he ran for 2. 6 total touchdowns in the game. 386 yards on 29 for 38 throwing. For California, it was Mendoza for 18 for 34, 177 yards. He was picked off once in the entire game. 21st ranked Kansas beat Iowa State 28-21. 3rd ranked Michigan beat Purdue 41-13. Alabama in a tight battle with LSU. They beat the Tigers 42-28. Jalen Monroe ran 4 times and got in the end zone 4 times. This was the story of the game. He was thrown for 219 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He ran. He got 155 yards on the ground on 20 carries on 4 touchdowns there. McKellen had 14 carries for 63 yards. He got a touchdown. Williams had 6 carries for 56. He got a touchdown. 6 rushing touchdowns, and Jalen Milroe made history as the only Alabama quarterback to have 4 rushing touchdowns, 3 of them in the first half. No one's ever done that. Rob Gronkowski was in University of Arizona over the weekend watching his Wildcats beat the 19th UCLA Bruins 27-10. This was a complete shocker there. Gerbers had only thrown for 138 yards and 1 touchdown. Fafita 25 for 32, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. They get the big upset win. Speaking of upset wins, beating Air Force in Air Force 23-3. Air Force is no longer undefeated. They are now 8-1. Tulane beat ECU 13-10. Utah beat Arizona State 55-3. 2nd ranked Georgia beating 12th ranked Missouri 30-21. This was a tight battle. Carson Beck in the game made it interesting there. Cook was struggling for Missouri, 14 for 30, 212 yards, down 2 picks. Carson Beck 21 for 32, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Last time ever, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma ranked 9th. Oklahoma State 22nd ranked. Oklahoma State got the win over Oklahoma. Gordon, the 3rd, 2 touchdowns, 33 carries, 137 yards. This was a story there. Owens had 10 catches for 136. This was the Gordon show here. Bowman had a 13-yard run there. Gabriel had a 6-yard pass to by Stoops for 6 yards in the end zone there. Walker had a 23-yard run. Then Gordon got a 1-yard run again, then a field goal there, then another field goal there. Last chance for Oklahoma. They try to get one more play out of this. And they try to go for it on 4th down. It is caught by Stoops. He's 1 yard short. Ball game is over there, 27-24. Oklahoma State beating Oklahoma. Washington and USC, this was a duel. This was a hell of a duel. It was all about the running backs in this game, though. Brown with a 2-yard run. Johnson with a 2-yard run. Caleb Woods with a 1-yard run. Michael Penix Jr. threw a 22-yard pass to Culp there. Barlow had a 1-yard run. Johnson had a 52-yard run to get in the end zone, tied at 21. Caleb Williams had a 41-yard pass to Ty Washington there, made it 28-21. Michael Penix Jr. with an answer of his own to Pollock on an 8-play, 70-yard drive, made it 28 all. Johnson with a 1-yard run. Caleb Williams with a 25-yard to Bryce there. Michael Penix Jr. with a 1-yard rushing touchdown there. Then Williams on a 20-yard run again to Williams, tied at 42 there. And then Johnson put the game away with a 1-yard run, 52-42. Michael Penix Jr., 22 for 30, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Caleb Williams, 27 for 35, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Didn't seem too bothered with a loss at home. He said he wants to go home and go watch some more football with his dog and hang out in his room. Just doesn't seem like he cares at this point. He knows he's got an NIL deal anyway, so this really didn't affect him as much. Oregon State taking on Colorado. Colorado dropping another one here. Shedeur Sanders sacked again 7 times. Not a pretty sight. 24 for 39, 245 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Sacked 5 times in the game. DJ Ugai, 12 for 24, 223 yards. He was sacked 3 times, had 1 touchdown, no pick. Colorado in this game just seemed like they just quit. They just didn't seem like they really had that much energy in the game at all. They only scored, a grand total of 16 points in that second half. They outscored Oregon 16-12, but it didn't matter. They just could not get back into this game. There was no momentum. All the momentum they had was dead. Shedeur Sanders, I don't know what happened with him, but man, he completely whiffed here in this game. And I'm not saying quarterback change needs to happen here. I don't think that's the case. But man, it just whatever Shedeur Sanders had going for him, it just died completely. I mean, the kid's not the same. That's all there is to it. He's not the same. Travis Hunter's not the same at this point. That whole team is completely out of whack at this point. Now, granted, he had 8 catches for 98 yards. He had some big drops in the game. Xavier Weaver had 5 catches for 66 yards. I mean, Horn Jr. had 2 catches for 28. There's just a lot there. Shedeur Sanders is missing throws. That whole team in general, it's just there's no good vibe there. I don't know. I didn't think they'd be 4-5 at this point and dropping the ranking here. That did surprise me. So I don't know what their story is, but that was not a good outing over the weekend by Colorado at home. And they have not been the same since that game against Oregon. I got to be honest with you. Since that game against Oregon, I think they've been broken. They've just whatever will they had, whatever confidence they had, the buzz, it just died. It really died. No question about it. We had hockey on over the weekend here. We'll start with Friday's action. Flyers beat the Sabres 5-1 in Buffalo. This was a game where Brink had a goal and an assist as the Flyers beat the Sabres. Farby had 2 assists in the game. Belibo had 1 goal for the Flyers. New Jersey Devils losing in St. Louis to the Blues 4-1. Not much else to tell you. Hayes scored twice for the Blues. Bennington had 33 saves, and Neighbors had the 1 goal from the left wing. Curtis Laser had the only goal for the Devils in the game. Kevin Hayes had an empty netter and 2 empty netters, actually, late in the third period with Robert Thomas and Hayes putting the game away. Saturday night action. Nashville Predators beat the Edmonton Oilers. They dropped to 2-8-1, I believe. That's now 10 games of sucking from the Oilers. I'm not sure what else to say here. O'Reilly had a hat trick, and Forsberg had the goal for the Predators. Ryan O'Reilly had slap shots, power play slap shots. Zach Hyman had a goal for Edmonton. Tommy Novak got a goal for Nashville. Ryan O'Reilly had a snapshot again. Otherwise, in this game, what it really came down to was Darnell Nurse showed up here and Hyman showed up. That was really about it. Nobody else really showed up in this game. Buffalo Sabres beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-4. That's a couple of days after the fact they lost to the Bruins. Kings beat the Flyers 5-0. Calgary got a goal. Talbot had 24 saves, and Byford had 3 assists for the Kings. The Wild beat the Rangers in a shootout. They won 5-4. The Pittsburgh Penguins beat the San Jose Sharks 10-2. That's right. The Canucks scored 10 straight goals on the Sharks. They now do the 0-10-1. The Sharks do. Vancouver shut out the Dallas Stars 2-0. Statement win against a very game Dallas Star team. A playoff atmosphere type of field team. As far as you looking at from distance from them, they shut them out. They sent a message. Thatcher Demigoin made 27 saves for the Canucks. Suter and Pat Peterson on the goal. Vegas Golden Knights, they shut out Colorado here, 7-0. Stone had a 4-point night. Hill had 41 saves. Mark Stone had 2 goals. Eichel had 2 goals. William Carey had a goal. William Carson had a wrist shot goal, and he had 2 of them actually. So 7-0 win for the Avalanche. The Avalanche dropped to 7-3. The Knights remain undefeated. I guess the overtime loss I just found doesn't pertain to the win-loss record here. So I guess the Knights are technically still undefeated. Yeah. So Lightning beat the Ottawa Senators 6-4. The St. Louis Blues beat the Montreal Canadiens 6-3. Hurricanes beat the Islanders in overtime in Long Island 4-3. Washington Capitals beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 2-1. Calgary Flames beat the Seattle Kraken 6-3. And the Bruins losing. No longer undefeated officially. They lost to the Red Wings 5-4. James Van Riemsdyk got a goal for the Bruins. Then Matthew Petros, he got a goal. A power play goal was was scored by Lucas Raymond. Jake Wallman with a power play goal. Charlie Coy got a wrist shot goal. Then Dylan Larkin got a goal. Then David Perron got a goal. Then Andrew Kopp got a goal. And then Patrick had a power play goal late. Tried to come back. They came up short. Yomark struggled in this game. That's how you got to look at this here. Linus Yomark struggled in this game. It was a hard game to watch. It was a hard game to sit through, really. That right there was a tough watch there. Red Wings improved to 7-4-1. Yesterday, Devils beat the Blackhawks 4-2. And the Anaheim Ducks, they shocked the Vegas Golden Knights in Anaheim here. They shocked everybody, winning 4-2 in that series. Tonight, you got the Boston Bruins on the road. They're playing at the Dallas Stars. Edmonton Oilers play the Vancouver Canucks again in Vancouver. So far, they're 0-2. Will they be going 0-3? I say yes. Columbus Blue Jackets playing the Florida Panthers tonight, and the Tampa Bay Lightning are back in Toronto to face the Maple Leafs later on tonight. NBA highlights that took place on Friday. Let's start with the Friday scoreboard here. They had an in-season tournament here. The Bucks got to win 110-105. Brooklyn Nets beat the Chicago Bulls 109-107. The Warriors beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 141-139. Miami Heat beat the Washington Wizards 121-114. Dallas Mavericks no longer undefeated. They beat the Denver Nuggets, or they lost to the Denver Nuggets actually, 125-114. Portland beat the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are still winless. They survived in overtime 115-113. The Pacers beat the Cavaliers 121-116. The Sixers beat the Suns 112-100 on Saturday. Joel Embiid and Kelly Oubre Jr. led them passing the Embiid had 26 points. Durant had 31 points in the game. No Devin Booker. He was dealing with an ankle and a hamstring and a foot injury. It's been a lot of injury stuff going on as far as that goes right now. Tobias Harris had 18 points. Embiid had 26, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Kelly Oubre had 25 points, 3 rebounds, no assists in the game. Maxey had 22 points. 4 of the 5 stars were in double figures in this game. The Magic beat the Lakers 120-101. That was a big game there. Anthony Davis had 28 points. Fred Wenger had 26 points for the Magic. LeBron had 24. Paolo Banchero, he had 25. Reiner had 26. Suggs and Black combined to get 20 points. Jason Tatum scored over 10,000 points. Got a milestone in the game over the Brooklyn Nets. They remain undefeated. They got the win over the weekend over the Brooklyn Nets. 124-114 behind Tatum and Holiday's double-double. Listen to this one. 32 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist. Holiday, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. Porzingis had 22 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. Al Horford had 8 points, and Jaylen Brown had 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Horford had 8, 7, and 3. Off the bench, Cornette had 11 points. Hauser and Brissett combined to get 10. The Nuggets beat the Chicago Bulls 123-101. The Timberwolves beat the Jazz 123-95. The Charlotte Hornets beat the Indiana Pacers 125-124. Yesterday, Phoenix Suns beat the Detroit Pistons 120-106. Kevin Durant, season high, 41 points. Had 41, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Eric Gordon had 21 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. And Grayson Allen had 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Ogie had 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists for the Suns. Pistons had Stewart scored 8 points. Durant had 12 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. He's the next Ben Wallace as far as I'm concerned. The way he plays, his attitude, he's the next Ben Wallace. He's a monster on that floor. Too bad he's on a sucky Piston team. Cunningham had 26 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Townsend had 14 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. And Hayes had 13 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists. Raptors in overtime, they beat the San Antonio Spurs 123-116. Cavaliers beat the Warriors 115-104. Dallas Mavericks beat the Hornets 124-118. And the Memphis Grizzlies get their first win as of yesterday, beating the Portland Trailblazers 112-100. So they lost to Portland, I think it was on Friday. And 2 days later, they played again, and Memphis got their redemption back. They got the win there. Tonight, you have Warriors Pistons. You have Spurs Pacers. Dallas Mavericks at the Orlando Magic. And you have the Lakers at the Miami Heat. And you have the Milwaukee Bucks at the Brooklyn Nets. The Clippers are at the Knicks. Utah Jazz are at the Chicago Bulls. The Celtics continue their road game trip tonight. They play at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Washington Wizards are at the Philadelphia 76ers. Kings are at the Rockets. Hawks are at the Thunder. The Pelicans are at the Nuggets. So that is the story. That is the real story on this whole thing. We got some trending news here in regards to NFL and football stuff. J.C. Jackson and Jack Jones refused to speak to the media after apparent benching in the Patriots loss right now. So both Jack Jones and J.C. Jackson were benched late in the game. Raiders coaching change came out at a vicious team meeting that broke Josh McDaniels before his firing. I guess he broke also why Antonio Pierce talked about the 07 Giants-Patriots season. And Josh McDaniels not thrilled about that firing there. I guess players were telling the owner to fire Josh McDaniels. I guess they were walking around. There was just a lot of running around going on. C.J. McCollum diagnosed with a small lung collapse. Will undergo further testing here, but that is the story. USC has fired their defensive coordinator Alex Grinch. Connor Stallions fired as the offensive analysis for the Michigan Wolverines. The Devontae Adams was almost traded to the New York Jets, but the Raiders did not want to play ball. That was interesting there. And Kirk Cousins could be returning in 2024, still a possibility despite the free agent status. So that is the story. That is the story now going forward. Craig Counsell has been named the Cubs' new manager for baseball going forward. And there's been a rumor going around that Marshawn Lynch, according to Tony Middleton on Facebook here, according to the Score, RG3 suggests the Raiders should interview Marshawn Lynch for a head coaching position. So that should be interesting. I actually would love to see Marshawn Lynch as a head coach. Why the hell not? This would be an entertaining. The Raiders at this point are dysfunctional. Let's add another player on there to make this team even a lot more entertaining at this point. Get the dysfunction out of them, make this team into winners. I don't know what their record would be, but it'd be one hell of a story. It would be. Marshawn Lynch being a first-time coach. Antonio Pierce so far looks like he's a long-term plan, though, for the Raiders, though. According to the flight with Mike, he believes that the Raiders, with the amount of talent that they have at this point and what they could get in the draft, and Garoppolo being the best backup quarterback of all time, you know, it's still debatable with that statement. But I believe it's Drew Bledsoe, just based on the fact right now of what he's done in most of his career with Buffalo, Dallas, and New England. So I'm just saying. And that's really about it. Thank you all for watching again. And if you plan on watching later on, great. You can, if you want to rewatch again, it's available at any time. You can go on YouTube and type my name in there and type the name of the show. You can hit the like button, subscribe. You can follow me on Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It is almost 6 o'clock at night. It's kind of hard to believe at this point. This was actually a lot shorter than I thought it would be this week. But anyway, I didn't want to go too long on the show, so I'm glad I'm just going to cut it there. I will see you all again tomorrow. Tonight, Monday Night Football, it's Chargers and the Jets. I will review that game tomorrow, along with the Bruin game and the Celtics game. And I'll get the rest of the scores and highlights as well. And, we got some I guess we don't have any breaking news here. Okay, I thought we did. That's really about it. I will see you all again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. I'm out.